Leather jackets, roaring Harleys, and a skull with wings. Behind this iconic imagery lies something far more sinister than a motorcycle club. The Hells Angels have built a global criminal empire spanning 56 countries through violence, intimidation, and business savvy. What started as a gathering of World War II veterans in 1948 evolved into one of the world's most sophisticated crime syndicates. How did they take over entire cities? Let's ride through 15 places where the Angels don't just visit, they rule. One, Oakland, California. In 1957, high school dropout Sonny Barger created the Oakland chapter and changed everything. Oakland wasn't just another chapter, it became the beating heart of the entire organization. Under Barger's leadership, Oakland became the approval center for all new chapters worldwide. Want to become a Hells Angel anywhere? You needed Oakland's blessing. The Oakland Angels quickly established a methamphetamine empire. FBI investigations revealed they controlled up to 90% of Northern California's meth market, with labs producing $160,000 worth of speed daily. Barger balanced the outlaw image with mainstream connections. The Angels partied with the Grateful Dead, hung out with Ken Kesey, and became counterculture icons, thanks to Hunter S. Thompson's famous book. Law enforcement tried repeatedly to take them down. Multiple federal investigations, RICO charges, drug busts. Yet the Oakland chapter persisted. Even after Barger's death in 2022, his legacy continues. They don't just operate in Oakland, they own it. 2. Montreal, Canada. December 5th, 1977. The local Popeyes gang joined the Hells Angels family. Why? Their reputation for brutality and their access to something priceless, the Port of Montreal. Controlling a major port means controlling what enters the country. The Montreal Angels quickly established drug trafficking routes that still operate today. From 1994 to 2002, Montreal streets ran red during the Quebec Biker War against the Rock Machine. The conflict claimed 162 lives, including innocent bystanders. Leading this war was Maurice "Mom" Boucher, perhaps the most feared angel in Canadian history. His operations became so powerful that Canadian officials created their first anti-gang legislation specifically to fight them. In 2009, police launched Operation Shark UC, 177 raids, 123 arrests, $5 million seized. But within a decade, most members were back in business. Today, the Montreal Angels operate further from street-level crime, delegating to smaller clubs while collecting profits from above. Montreal wasn't just conquered, it was transformed into a model of modern criminal enterprise. 3. Vancouver, Canada, July 1983. The Satan's Angels became Hell's Angels, giving the organization control of Canada's Western Gateway. The Vancouver Angels established 3 chapters and quickly infiltrated the Port of Vancouver. Unlike their flashy counterparts elsewhere, the Vancouver Angels focused on business. They invested heavily in real estate apartment buildings, restaurants, supermarkets, creating a legitimate empire to launder their criminal proceeds. Their port infiltration was strategic. Angels members secured jobs as longshoremen, creating a perfect smuggling system. A 2017 investigation found the port was corrupt, with embedded members facilitating smuggling operations. Their business diversification impressed even legitimate entrepreneurs. They owned cell phone companies, supplied vehicles to Hollywood productions, and pioneered online adult entertainment services in 1995. Today, Vancouver represents the Hells Angels' corporate future violence when needed, but business always. They don't just operate in Vancouver, they're woven into its economic fabric. 4. New York City, December 1969. The Angels absorbed the local aliens motorcycle gang and planted their flag in the Big Apple. This wasn't just another chapter, it was a command center. Along with Cleveland, the NYC chapter coordinates all Hells Angels activities across the eastern United States, Canada, and Europe. They formed strategic partnerships with the Gambino and Genovese crime families, providing security for mafia operations in exchange for drugs and protection. The chapter's power was symbolized by their East Village clubhouse, which became a fortress. When federal authorities tried to seize it under drug forfeiture laws, the Angels fought back and won a rare defeat for prosecutors. They expanded beyond Manhattan into the Hudson Valley and established chapters in New Rochelle, Troy, and Suffolk County. This wasn't random growth, it was strategic positioning along drug distribution routes. Despite decades of law enforcement pressure, the New York City Hells Angels remain a criminal force. New York isn't just their territory, it's their eastern capital. 5. Toronto, Canada. December 2000, the day the Hells Angels conquered Ontario. In a single ceremony, 179 members from various Ontario biker gangs joined the Angels. Overnight, they became the dominant criminal motorcycle gang in Canada's most populous province. The mastermind, Walter Nurget Stadnik, who engineered what insiders called a patch-for-patch deal. From Satan's choice alone, the Angels formed 7 new chapters across Ontario. Toronto's value, its position as Canada's financial heart, and its role as a distribution hub for drugs entering through Montreal. Police estimated Angels were moving cocaine at 85 to 90% purity in Toronto due to competitive pressure. The Toronto Angels gained political influence. In 2002, Toronto's mayor was photographed shaking hands with an angel, calling them fantastic for bringing business to the city. Police fought back with Project Tandem in 2006, but the operation required something unprecedented: the first Canadian full member to wear a wire. Today, the Toronto chapters operate more discreetly, but no less effectively. Toronto wasn't just conquered, it was consumed. 6. Hamburg, Germany, March 1973. The Angels established their first German chapter in Hamburg by absorbing the local Bloody Devils gang. Their target: the lucrative red light districts of St. Pauli and Sternschanze. Hamburg offered perfect conditions, a major port with famous red light areas. They quickly controlled brothels, strip clubs, and drug distribution. In Frankfurt's red light district, an estimated 97% of prostituted women paid daily fees to Angels controllers. A 1983 police raid with 500 officers led to 13 members being sentenced to prison, and the Hamburg charter was officially banned. But they simply renamed their chapter Harbor City and continued operations. Frank Hambeth emerged as the new power. Starting as a pimp and former boxer, he built the Hanover chapter into Germany's richest and became described as the boss of all Hells Angels in Europe. Today, the German Angels have expanded to 69 chapters with 1,400 members. Hamburg isn't just their territory, it's their European showcase for monetizing vice. 7. Johannesburg, South Africa, August 1993. The Angels established their first African chapter in Johannesburg. They quickly connected with the local bouncer mafia controlling nightclub security and protection rackets. Their biggest impact: introducing methamphetamine to South Africa around 1997. The Angels began mass-producing the drug by exploiting easy access to ephedrine. They didn't just enter the market, they created it. Court testimony revealed their criminal operations. Hitman Andre Vogel implicated the Angels in the contract killing of a bouncer shot 32 times outside a nightclub. The Angels' Johannesburg president personally paid for the hit. The DEA uncovered their international smuggling operation in 2001. South African Angels were hiding methamphetamine inside stuffed toys and mailing them to Arizona for distribution across America. Police raids in 2002 found unlicensed weapons, meth labs, and large quantities of drugs. Today, South Africa has become a key meth production center, with the Angels' operations helping establish what's now a $782 million market. 8. Cleveland, Ohio, December 1967. The Dirty 30 Cleveland chapter was born from merging 2 local clubs. Along with New York, they govern all Angels activities in the eastern United States, Canada, and Europe. Even more significant, the Cleveland chapter reportedly houses the National Treasury. Money from chapters nationwide flows through Cleveland, making it the financial heart of the organization. Their criminal portfolio includes gun running, extortion, trafficking in stolen property, and methamphetamine distribution. Intelligence reports indicate they've conducted contract killings and partnered with the Cleveland crime family. What makes Cleveland unique is its longevity and stability. While other chapters faced leadership changes and conflicts, the Cleveland Angels maintained consistent control for decades. They expanded their influence by establishing additional chapters throughout Northeast Ohio. Cleveland isn't just their territory, it's their bank. 9. Copenhagen, Denmark, December 1980. The Angels established their first Scandinavian chapter in Copenhagen. From 1983 to 1985, they fought a bloody war with Bullshit MC that left 11 dead and 74 wounded across Scandinavia. Their most strategic conquest? The Port of Aarhus, Denmark's largest commercial port. By 2023, around 30 port employees were affiliated with the Angels, allowing them to transport illegal items through shipping containers. The situation became so serious that in 2023, Aarhus's mayor publicly stated, "The Port of Aarhus is a critical infrastructure, and I am appalled that criminals are operating in the port." Recently, the Angels have fought for control of the cannabis trade in Christiania. A 2023 shooting left 1 dead and 4 injured, prompting Copenhagen's mayor to warn tourists about buying cannabis. Today, the Angels have expanded throughout Denmark, establishing puppet clubs to handle street-level crime. Copenhagen isn't just their territory, it's their gateway to Scandinavia. 10. Sydney, Australia, 1975. The Hells Angels expanded to Australia, establishing their first chapters in Melbourne and Sydney. This wasn't just another international outpost, it was their Asia-Pacific headquarters. The Australian operation grew quickly to around 250 members across 14 chapters nationwide. Sydney became the nerve center, controlling territory across the country's most populous state. This wasn't random growth, it was strategic positioning. Their criminal portfolio was comprehensive. Drug trafficking, prostitution, armed robbery, arms trafficking, fencing stolen goods, and murder for hire. But they didn't stop with traditional crimes. They evolved. What makes the Sydney Angels remarkable is their business evolution. They moved aggressively into legitimate businesses, gyms, tattoo parlors, haulage companies, and security firms. These weren't just fronts, they were sophisticated money laundering operations. Police allege that the Angels pass money through these legitimate businesses, creating a nearly impenetrable financial shield. This isn't just criminal activity, it's corporate crime. The Australian Angels developed strong connections to Asian drug producers, establishing trafficking routes that continue today. Sydney's position as a major Pacific port made it ideal for receiving and distributing narcotics throughout the region. Law enforcement has targeted them repeatedly, but the Sydney Angels adapted. They've become so entrenched in both legitimate and illegitimate business that removing them would require dismantling entire industries. Sydney isn't just their territory, it's their corporation. 11. Phoenix Mesa, Arizona, marked a seismic shift in Hells Angels history when Sonny Barger, the godfather of the organization, relocated from Oakland to the Phoenix area. This wasn't retirement, it was expansion. Barger's first move, absorbing the Dirty Dozen, described by ATF agent Joe Slatala as the largest and most violent gang in the state. This wasn't a merger, it was an acquisition of talent and territory. The Arizona Angels quickly established dominance. They had beaten off previous attempts by the Mongols, Vagos, and Devil's Disciples to establish chapters in the state. Now they had Barger himself leading operations from Cave Creek. In 2001, federal agents launched Operation Black Biscuit, infiltrating the Angels for 21 months. The investigation revealed murder, drug trafficking, and racketeering. But the legal outcome was disappointing. Many charges were dismissed or reduced. The Arizona operation became central to international drug trafficking. In 2001, the DEA uncovered a network where South African Angels mailed methamphetamine hidden in stuffed toys to Flagstaff for distribution across America. Chapter President Greg Snake Serdukin was sentenced to 15 years for his role. Violence remained part of their toolkit. In 2016, Angels member Wayne Witt opened fire outside a Tempe sports bar, killing a Mongols member named Richard A.Z. Slick Garcia. The shooting followed a verbal altercation inside the bar. Today, the Phoenix Mesa Angels remain powerful despite Barger's 2022 death. His funeral in Stockton drew 7,000 attendees, including media personality Tucker Carlson. Arizona isn't just their territory, it's their legacy. 12. London, England, 1985. The Hells Angels established an official chapter in London, creating their foothold in one of the world's financial capitals. This wasn't just expansion, it was legitimization. The London chapter's formation came with controversy. Initially unsanctioned, it gained official status shortly after its only black member, John Mickelson, died in police custody. This timing raised questions that remain unanswered. London became the Angels' gateway to European expansion. From this base, they established networks across the United Kingdom and coordinated with continental chapters. This wasn't random growth, it was strategic positioning. What makes the London Angels unique is their aggressive protection of intellectual property. They've sued major corporations like Toys R Us, Alexander McQueen, Amazon, and Disney over unauthorized use of their Death's Head logo. This isn't just gang activity, it's corporate enforcement. Their criminal activities follow the familiar pattern: drug trafficking, territorial disputes, and violence when necessary. But London's value lies more in its position as a financial and cultural hub than as a crime scene. In 2013, the Angels opened a retail store in Toronto selling branded merchandise. By 2019, they were suing companies like Redbubble for trademark infringement. This level of business sophistication started with the London chapter's focus on legitimacy. Today, the London Angels balance their outlaw image with business operations. They've become so normalized that they operate in plain sight while maintaining criminal networks. London isn't just their territory, it's their brand headquarters. 13. Raleigh-Fayetteville, North Carolina, July 24th, 1973. North Carolina's first Hells Angels chapter was established in Durham, sponsored by the Omaha chapter. This wasn't just southern expansion, it was strategic positioning in a region known for military bases. The Raleigh-Fayetteville operation grew steadily, largely out of the public eye until recently. In February 2025, federal authorities unsealed an indictment charging 16 members with racketeering, revealing the extent of their operations. What made headlines? 5 Angels were charged with the January 1st, 2023 murder of a Pagans Motorcycle Club member in Raleigh. 8 others were charged with attempted murder for a violent assault on pagan members in a Dairy Queen parking lot in Wade. This wasn't random violence, it was territorial warfare. The Angels built their North Carolina operation using support clubs, particularly the Red Devils Motorcycle Club, their main nationwide support group. These clubs do the dirty work, shielding full patch members from direct criminal exposure. This isn't just delegation, it's corporate structure. The Raleigh-Fayetteville area offered perfect conditions: military personnel transitioning to civilian life, potential recruits, proximity to major highways for drug distribution, and relative distance from areas with established law enforcement intelligence on biker gangs. Federal authorities described the operation as a criminal enterprise engaging in violent criminal activity that terrorized local communities. 14. Amsterdam Netherlands. Amsterdam's legalized prostitution and cannabis created perfect conditions for Angels operations. They established influence over the famous De Wallen red light district, coffee shops, and entertainment venues. Their business model was sophisticated: maintain a public presence through clubhouses and charity events while controlling vice industries through associates. Where direct ownership wasn't possible, protection rackets filled the gap. The Netherlands' position as a European drug trafficking hub made Amsterdam strategically vital. 15. Zurich, Switzerland. The Angels' presence in Zurich isn't about numbers or violence. It's about financial sophistication. Zurich offered world-class banking with strong privacy protections, a central European location, and political stability. The Swiss Angels maintain a lower profile than their counterparts elsewhere. Their value lies in financial services, money laundering, investment of criminal proceeds, and creation of legitimate business fronts. Press the bell icon for updates. Share this video to spread awareness. What city surprised you most? Let us know in the comments below.